Well, welcome to hardly sunny summer-like conditions for Poole Speedway racing tonight in the second leg of the Elite League playoffs. But nevertheless, I think it's really something that we're standing here with a realistic prospect of racing, because having had a rain-off in the first leg between Poole and Swindon, up at Swindon on the first scheduled date, we've now had two rain-offs here down at Poole, and it's doing its best to make it a third tonight, but I think the weather's failing, and I think Speedway will be the winner tonight. We've had what I can only describe as miserly conditions here. We've obviously got wet conditions because there's dampness into what was already a very damp track. We've had very little dry weather since the other two race-offs, but we have had a little bit of wet weather and some dry. We've got bags of sawdust around the track. It does look very tacky, but there's a grim determination about the Speedway here tonight that says this match has got to go on, and the crowds have turned out, as you'll see, in their droves as usual for a playoff. Plenty coming down from Swindon in high expectation, and whilst we haven't had too many dramas on the track in the last week, there's certainly been one or two off them, particularly affecting the Pirates. Swindon, in fact, will be coming here with the same team as raced in the first leg, so other than the omission of Jason Doyle with that injury and his replacement by Seb Alden, it's more or less the same team. So obviously Hans Anderson and Troy Batchelor leading the spearhead with Peter Killerman. Incidentally, Anderson and Batchelor have both reportedly, online anyway, seem to be suffering from various sort of end-of-season ailments. Nothing that's going to keep them off the bikes, but nevertheless they're not looking to be 100% fit. The rest of the team, we've heard nothing to suggest that they're other than race fit. So Simon Stead, obviously, with that upsurge in his end-of-season form, will be hoping to do a little better around here than habitually he's done in the past few seasons. And I think that Peter Kilderman, obviously, if he can replicate his home track form, then he could potentially be a winner. So Swindon unchanged from the first leg. Poole, a completely different matter. Looked as if they were going to have their team obliterated, but fortunately 24 hours ago in Poland, Chris Holder did suffer some sort of foot injury. Immediate reports suggested that he would be out tonight with a broken foot. Thankfully for the Pirates, he did actually jam his right foot under his footrest, and I think suffered some incapacity. We'll see if we can get a word with him later on and find out exactly what it is, but he has declared himself fit to race, and thankfully so, because unfortunately the Pirates will be without their other Aussie star, the other half of the Turbo Twins, and that's Darcy Ward. Unfortunately, he was set upon in a late night incident back on Friday outside what is normally a fairly quiet Dorset pub. I know the pub myself, the Churchill Arms, and anyway, he was set upon. Not too many details of that unfortunate incident have emerged, other than the fact that Darcy was taken to Poole Hospital and had a scan, and as far as I know, unless we see him appearing tonight, he's still there. So a big blow for the Pirates, and I would say irreplaceable. Originally, Niels Christian Everson was set to take his place as a guest replacement, and then we heard at 3 p.m. today that he's fog-bound, would you believe? Well, it's pretty foggy just about everywhere, and it is here. He was fog-bound in Poland, so it seems as if the fog is sort of... we had a descent of gloom and doom right across Europe. Anyway, he's there in Poland, not racing here tonight, but they've come up trumps because, just would you believe, this afternoon the Bellevue Coventry match was rained off. Hey, rain in Manchester? Unheard of, but nevertheless that's what's happened. But it has a silver lining for Poole, because we've got Bomber Harris, and we know what he can do in the playoffs here at Wimborne Road. Unfortunately, 2 years ago he was doing it for Coventry. If he can do it for the Pirates tonight, he'd just about make up for it, but he comes in to take Darcy's place. We've also got 1 or 2 changes down the line. Ludwig Lindgren is in the team tonight, and Linus Eklof, so that means that Carl Houth and Sam Masters are out of the team. Ricky Kling, the other bottom end rider, whose contribution tonight in these conditions could in fact be crucial. Can he score points against the bottom end of the Swindon team? If he can, Pirates in with a chance. But remember, they've got a 7-point deficit. Christoph Kasperzak, not sure how he likes wet conditions. Some people say he loves them. I don't think anybody's going to really love riding this track. And of course the other X factor for Poole tonight, the unknown, is just how incapacitated Chris Holder is after that foot injury. So it's intriguingly set up. We have got Speedway. It's all looking good for the second leg of the playoffs, and let's see if we can find some riders to speak to. Well, we've just found Christoph preparing himself for a wet evening's racing. Not going to be very pleasant out there tonight racing. Going to need to get out of the gate and not get filled in.
Yeah, it will be boring meeting, and we know that because track is very wet and track is no like normal in Poole, no for the fighting. It's a little bit unlucky for us because we need normal track, but we try the best, and I hope so will be everything all right.
We need normal track and we need normal team. No Piotr, no Darcy. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened end of the season. Every day when I wake up, I heard some news, and it's very bad news. The same Chris have yesterday a little bit small incident in Poland. His foot the same is no 100%, but we try the best. Like I say, we have Chris Harris and we have world champion. I'm trying the best, and boys, I think we can do it.
So a big up for the Pirates. Going to do it?
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah.
Thanks for the job. Well, one of the key riders in the first leg up at Swindon, of course, was Peter Killerman. A lot expected of him, and he delivered. And Roscoe, I'm sure, will be hoping he can do the same again here tonight. Peter, you've had a look at conditions. They don't look brilliant, but what do you reckon about tonight's match?
Yeah, as you say, the conditions not the best anyway, but it's going to be the same for everybody, and really want to have the meeting on and have the final out of the way and see how it goes. But yeah, I look forward, and hopefully we can do a good one.
And of course, you've ridden this track once or twice, so you know your way around here. But it's going to be a tough match tonight, you reckon?
Yeah, really. I never been here when I've been dry, so never knew for me. But yeah, exactly. Going to be a really tough one tonight. But hopefully we have a little bit in what they say. Darcy's not here tonight, so yeah, going to be good for us. But yeah, shame going to be on that way. But yeah.
And of course there's plenty of Robins fans here, full of hopes for you, so you'll be doing your best for them too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, obviously the heat leader trio will be taking the leading role, but it's crucial tonight that the 3 Swedish riders that are the support crew for the Pirates weigh in, and we've got Ricky here with us now. Ricky, if you can replicate the form you showed at the start of the season, I'm sure you'll be happy and everyone else will be happy tonight. And what do you think about the wet conditions? Are you, it's going to be the same for everybody. What's your own view about the wet track tonight?
Yeah, same for everyone, as I said. Just going to try to make the start and pop out of the gates. It's always easy to stay front when it's this dirty and slimy, and yeah, it's going to be a bit tricky. And I think after half the meeting it's probably going to be some dirt, but before that it's just going to be a gate and go really. So got to be ready when the green line goes on and be ready when the tape goes up. Yeah. What sort of point tally will you be personally happy with for yourself tonight? Sort of what you're going to aim for, really? I don't really look at it that way. I'm going to go out trying to win every race I'm in, and if I do that, it's lots of points. But yeah, I normally look after the meeting and see if it's good enough, and trying to win the next race I'm in. So hopefully we've got a track walk now. So see you later. Cheers. Thanks. Well, if they were dishing out hard luck prizes for the unluckiest Speedway rider, I know one who would be in the qualifying list, and of course that's Jason Doyle, who's right with me now. Jason, last year it happened with the Pirates. You picked up an injury and missed out on championship success, and it looks like, although you're here obviously with the Robins, your 2012 team, you're once again on the sidelines. Must be pretty frustrating, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I think the same situation happened last year, which happens now. Getting injured at the wrong time of the season after having a pretty good season in my probably the best season I had this year. So yeah, I'm here to cheer the boys on, and hopefully we can come over with a win.
Yeah, I mean 12 months ago you were cheering the Pirates on and taking part in the celebrations, and you'll be hoping to do the same. So although you're not riding, you might end up being their lucky mascot.
Yeah, I don't really want to be a mascot. I think coming here is just to show the boys that I'm just a bit of a moral support, and hopefully we can go away with a win. I know the boys are all up for it, and hopefully this year it can be a win for Swindon.
Oh, obviously you picked up an injury riding in the Premier League on the Sheffield track. How are you at the moment? What's the latest state of play?
There's not really much I can really say. I think I just broke my C7 in my neck, which is 8 weeks out, and I just need to go home and recover really. Last year was my shoulder, this year it's me neck, so hopefully that's our third time lucky we'll make a final next year.
Well, I know I speak on behalf of not only all the people down here at Poole, but all the Swindon people, wishing you speedy recovery and back in action next season.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Thanks.
We're just back off the track walk, and Ludwig Lindgren is obviously one of the Pirate support riders has been drafted in tonight. What do you think of the track? It's not at its best, is it?
It's a bit wet, but it's wet for everyone, so yeah, it's alright. It's better than what I thought.
Yeah.
It ain't that too bad actually, so it'd be good if the rain stays away. It'd be a good race track at the end of the night.
Yep. Well, it does seem to actually, the drizzle we've had all day just does seem to have stopped, so that's amazing. Pirates still do it tonight, you think?
Absolutely. There's nothing else in the mind. We got to do it. You don't ride the whole season to finish second, so no, it's absolutely. We're just gonna go for it. We got Harrison instead of Darcy, which is it's good news with the bad news, sort of thing. With that Chris came in, so but no, we'll do it for Darcy.
Riders must like the big occasion, and playoffs are a big occasion, so you must be pleased to be part of it.
Absolutely. I'm oh sorry. I finished top of the league in all 3 leagues I ride in, and second in Sweden, and Newcastle's out of the playoffs, so I ain't gonna walk away losing another playoffs.
Well, good luck tonight.
Cheers, thank you.
Well, the Robins obviously on the basis of what they've done so far this season, and certainly in the first leg, are a very well balanced team. All riders able to win races, and that includes, of course, Nick Morris, who's with me now. Nick, you had some good matches against the Pirates this season, and you're going to hope that tonight's one of them, yeah?
Yeah, for sure. We all need to be on it tonight, and everyone needs to score points and not run any last places, and yeah, hopefully we all go awesome and win the league.
First big season right at the top, and you're right at the top in the playoffs. It doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Nah, it doesn't. I've had a up and down year, but it's good that I'm in the playoff finals with both teams. So yeah, we're here to win it, and that's what we want to do.
And you've just had a little track walk. What's your impression of what you've seen?
Yeah, it's pretty wet, but we've got to ride it. It's not getting called off tonight, so we're here to ride it, and we're here to win some races, and yeah.
See, the Pirates got no Darcy tonight. Does that put the favourites tag on Swindon?
Oh, I don't know. We want to win it no matter what, and we wanted to win it when we knew we were going to try and win as much as we could, even when Darcy was here. So it doesn't change anything. It just makes our life a little bit easier, I guess. But Bomber's still very fast around here, so we'll still do the job.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Well, we're looking at very wet track conditions, obviously, after one thing and another. So to get a real expert's view on the track, and we all know what the meaning of expert is, we couldn't do better than Sam. Sam, you just had a quick look at it. What sort of racing are we going to have tonight?
Oh, racing. You're expecting racing on a very wet track. That's a good one. I know that the track guys are still tending to do a little bit of work on it. It's got a lot of heavy mist in the air, and that mist has come down on the racetrack, and it's made it fairly wet, but it's not like a sticky wet where it's, when you're walking, it's not lifting up on the bottom of your foot. So if I was a racer, I would say you have to make a good start here tonight to make sure, but I don't think there's going to be any dramas looking at the track conditions. Maybe a little bit slippery. And what tends to happen is once the bikes go around the racetrack, that area where the back wheel's been skidding on becomes very slippery. Right now it's got a little bit of grit in the ground with a little bit of stone that they put on top of it. And I think looking at it right now, it's a very mediocre track. I wouldn't say it's going to be much of a super racetrack, but I think this kind of conditions will lend to having, dirt appear in places where the guys will start identifying it and start shooting for those areas. But overall, I think it's good this time of year to get this thing on.
I'm not an expert like you, Sam, but looking at it, the word sort of lottery seems to spring to mind. As racing could be a bit of a lottery, I think.
I think that both teams will be taking it very tentatively to actually figure out what it's all about for the first, 4 to 6, 7 races maybe, and then it will find its own level, and then the guys will be able to utilize that information that they've maybe had one race underneath their belt and set the bike up a bit. Lottery, I wouldn't be scared to ride this racetrack, but as you considered it to be a racetrack, it's debatable at the moment, but it could possibly turn out. You know what's real interesting is there's a championship on the line tonight. So no matter what anybody says, they got to make this track work for them. So they got to bring this track as their best track ever they've ever raced on. Hopefully the best team wins.
Thanks a lot for your impressions, Sam. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, back in 1988, we had our first interview with this gentleman here, Craig Boyce. He's done a few things around Poole Speedway in that time, but I think he's decided to pull up roots, and we can't say emigrate, although he has been here a long time. He's repatriating back to Aussie. What's that all about then, Craig?
It's been a good 25 years, I guess, and time to go home. So in the middle of going through the motions at the moment to get home for after the new year.
All the plans set now, are they? And what are you going to miss about Poole?
Tonight, and things like tonight and win the league and Speedway, it's in my blood and Poole's in my blood, and hopefully the boys can pull one off tonight. I'll be happy for them, but I've got a lot of good memories down here, and I've done a lot of laps around the track, so going to miss it a lot.
So all the rerun viewers out there will obviously want a farewell message from you to them. What's your farewell message to the Speedway fraternity then, Craig?
I'd just like to thank British Speedway for 20 great seasons. It's been an awesome, fun ride, and met a lot of great people, and I'm just stoked to have had the opportunity and also to have ended up down here at Poole, and I'm going to miss a lot of good friends and a lot of good Speedway tracks, and thanks very much. See you later.
Well, we're well and truly in Dorset. We're at the Wimborne Road Stadium, but it feels like a little bit of Wiltshire at the moment because we're amongst the Swindon fans, and hey, 7 points. Is it going to be enough?
Difficult to say. I mean, I'm hoping it'll be enough, but you never know. I mean, they've just put sawdust down on the track, so might make it a little bit more difficult.
Where do you reckon they got that sawdust from?
Probably Matt Ford's garage, I expect.
Oh, goodness me. Hey, the wit's sharp here tonight. So who are going to be the key riders, and what do you reckon they're going to do tonight?
I think Peter Killerman will be the key rider for Swindon. For Poole, I'm not particularly worried about them. I mean, I can't understand why Chris Harris is not racing in Manchester tonight when he's supposed to be, but, that's just another something else that you better ask Mr. Ford about, I suppose.
Well, it's going to come as a big shock to everybody, but apparently they've got rain in Manchester. Would you believe it?
I don't think it ever rains in Manchester. It only ever rains in Dorset.
As long as it don't rain and rain. So, what's it going to be then tonight? Hey, folks?
Swindon!
Win! Come on, we got to do it, boys! Come on!
Well, those Robins people we've just been speaking to think that 7 points is going to be enough, but I think we're amongst people here who think that it isn't going to be. What do you reckon about that 7 points behind? Do you reckon the Pirates are going to catch it up tonight?
Just about, I think. Just about. Be very close now without Darcy.
And who do you think are going to be the key riders in tonight's match?
Chris Holder and Chris Harris. Yeah. And we're hoping the reserves are going to chip in as well, because they haven't done anything yet, have they? Not in the first leg was a bit, it's all the stars, weren't they? Really.
Well, 2 years ago, Chris Harris did it for the Bees against the Pirates. If he does it for the Pirates against the Robins tonight, can we forgive him?
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. But I can't see it happening.
Thanks. Well, we've got the setting, maybe a little damp, and maybe at the third time of asking, but nevertheless, Wimborne Road welcomes the riders on to the centre of the arena for the 2012 Elite League playoffs between the Poole Pirates and the Swindon Robins. Pirates, of course, the reigning and defending champions. The Robins, the challengers, with a 7-point advantage from the first leg. These riders now starting to feel the pressure of what is promising to be an entertaining night Speedway. And whilst we said the track is far from ideal with the amount of wet weather we've had, I just can't remember a summer so disrupted by the weather Speedway wise. But tonight it's on, and the most we're going to have is a light misty drizzle. There you can see the riders now just checking out the track surface, and before very long the cameras will be rolling, the bikes will be rolling, and the riders will be in action for this eagerly awaited matchup. It's a shame that on both sides injuries have taken their toll. Of course, the Pirates are certainly hit harder by the loss of Darcy Ward. He can do things on this track that nobody can do. But there again, Chris Harris certainly knows the quickest way around here. He was here in action in the playoffs 2 years ago, and he broke the Pirates' hearts that night. Can he break the Robins' hearts for the Pirates tonight? That's the big question. So there's the Swindon Robins then, and going down their lineup from 7 to 1. At 7, in for Jason Doyle is Seb Alden. Astute mid-season signing at number 6, the Pole Davy Lampard. A former Pirate at number 5, very much a Robin this season, Troy Batchelor at number 5. You heard from him in the pits a little earlier, the young Aussie Nick Morris. Another rider we had a quick word with, and a key heat leader for the Robins tonight, Peter Killerman, of course. And steady himself, Simon Stead lines up at number 2, and his form has certainly taken a lift of late. And finally, but by no means least, the number 1 in their lineup, Hans Anderson. Healthy crowd then welcomes the Pirates on parade, and going down their lineup, riding at number 7, Linus Eklof, the young Swede. You've just recently heard from the rider at number 6, Ludwig Lindgren. Plenty will be expected of the rider at number 5, the top pole, Christoph Kasperzak. Little gap that would have been taken by Piotr Pawlicki, but next we have in the lineup none other than the world champion himself, Chris Holder. Riding at number 2 for the Pirates tonight is Ricky Kling. And big blow to be without Darcy Ward, but you couldn't ask for a much better replacement than Chris Harris. So there we have the 2 teams on parade. We're going to get underway with the action now, and hope you enjoy the racing. Well, Chris is on the big screen at the moment as Sky start their live coverage. In a minute we'll be seeing him on the track, in fact in race number 3, as the riders now approach the tapes for the opening race. Well, it's actually not the opening race because it's heat 16 really, and Pirates at this stage of the proceedings are 7 points in arrears, having at one stage been 18 points in arrears, and the controversial tactical ride dragged them back into contention and makes tonight's match very much well poised, potentially nail biter, could go right down to the last race. You just can't read it. But certainly one thing we know is that despite the damp conditions, the riders are going to be going for it big time. And the lineup for race number 1, which is about to get underway, sees Swindon, having won the toss, taking gate positions 1 and 3. On gate 1 then is Simon Stead in yellow. On gate 2 for Poole in blue, Ricky Kling. We've got number 1 for the Swindon Robins, Hans Anderson, on gate 3 in white. And the Pirates guest in place of Darcy Ward, in the red helmet, Chris Harris. So that's the lineup for heat number 1. Swindon have the inside gate advantage in this one, and Steady on 1. They've got Ricky Kling on 2, Hans Anderson on 3, Chris Harris, all coming into line now. Starter walks away. Heat 1 of this playoff. Up go the tapes and away they go. And it's a pretty good start there for Chris Harris off gate 4, but it's Simon Stead in the lead. From Chris Harris, then Ricky Kling trailing at the back. We've got Hans Anderson, sticky conditions. Hans Anderson there, wiped out. Ricky Kling blasts him coming out of the turn, and he's into 3rd place. But out in front, we got Simon Stead leading this one off gate 1 from Chris Harris, who's right up his exhaust pipe in 2nd place. We've got Hans Anderson at the back. Swindon could be taking a 9-point lead if they can hold on to this, as Simon Stead leads with a lap to go. Chris Harris still right there with him. Hans Anderson a distant 3rd. Ricky Kling even further back in 4th. And it's going to be a 4-2 advantage to the Robins. Oh, and this track is certainly causing riders all sorts of problems as the Swindon fans raise the cheer in race number 1 for Steady. 4 points to 2 in favour of the Robins, 9 points overall. Heat 2 then, reserves race, and can the Pirates do something here? If they can do something in this race, it will lift the spirits and give an indication of something better. On the other hand, if the Robins can get out of the gate with these conditions, I think they could really put the Robins in the driving seat. Anyway, reading across, rider in red, no, gate 1, Ludwig Lindgren. On 2, it's David Lampard in white. Gate 3 sees Linus Eckloff in blue for the Pirates, and it's Sebastian Alden, the replacement, of course, for Jason Doyle, and he goes in the yellow helmet out on the wide outside on gate 4. So that's the lineup then. Important race. The contribution of the lower end riders in both teams is very important tonight. Starter walks away and off they go, and it's an unsatisfactory start. The rider in white there was David Lampard. The referee said he had a flyer, and it looked like it, and the referee decided they'll come back and have a go, and he may well just be putting a few words of caution to whoever he considers to be the guilty party. So the rider on gate 2 there, David Lampard's just had his warning from the referee by one of the start girls, and hopefully suitably admonished. He'll be keeping it in line this time until the correct moment as the starter once again walks away. And this time it's both the Robins that make the first show, but the rider in white, David Lampard's just taken a tumble, and it leaves Seb Alden leading the race from Ludwig Lindgren. Seb Alden from Ludwig Lindgren, then Linus Eckloff, but Alden is blasting away as David Lampard and Ludwig Lindgren has just lost his machine and taken a tumble. I don't know whether he's going to get the bike going again. No, he's only going to get it off the track. Oh my goodness me. Those are the conditions we get tonight. Pirates, we're on for a drawn race here. Really, the racing does look a little bit pedestrian at this stage. Not an awful lot of good stuff going on out there. It's a little bit well, pedestrian might be the word, as Seb Alden manages to keep the bike on the track, but this is not the Speedway spectacle that everybody had expected. Just 2 finishes in that one. Seb Alden, the race winner. Linus Ekloff in 2nd place. Unfortunately, Ludwig Lindgren taken a tumble there, and if that's an indication of the Pirates' luck tonight, it's not looking like good luck at the moment, because they surrender another point disadvantage to the Robins with a 3-2 to Swindon, making it 48 to Poole and 58 to Swindon. It's a 10-point deficit. Well, not much for the Pirates to cheer about so far, as they've gone full 10 points behind. It's 48 to 58 in favour of the Robins, but they've got their main man Chris Holder coming out in this one, albeit on the not too easy gate 4 position. That's Chris Holder in red, the world champion. On gate 1 we got Peter Killerman in white. On 2, the rider replacement for Piotr Pawlicki is Ricky Kling in blue, gate 2 then. And it's Nick Morris in gate 3 in a yellow helmet that completes the lineup. Of course, Chris Holder there, gate 4. He did injure his foot racing in Poland yesterday. He caught his right foot under his footrest and took quite a knock, but it's got it all strapped up tonight. Says he's fit to race, not 100%, but hopefully he's fit enough to win this race. The Pirates will be hoping so, because they need something. And he shows it there as it's a tumbler on the first bend, and that faller is Nick Morris there. As he's trying to tame a revving machine. Not too happy about the proceedings either. He certainly got well and truly into the mud, and he's making his way back to the pits, leaving his mechanic to retrieve the bucking bronco that is his bike. I'm sure he'll be back in the restart. That was clear first bend bunching, and with the weather conditions being what they are, I'm quite sure that referee's going to have to make allowances. In fact, just to make things a little bit more problematical for the racing tonight, it looks like there might be some problem with the air fence. There seems to be a certain amount of concern. I'm sure it will be sorted. Oh, and here you're just looking at the big screen there, and there's Nick Morris going smack into the air fence. Wow. And I'm just hearing that it is all 4 back. Well, plenty of controversy even in the early heats. So they've re-emerged from the pits. Nick Morris, the last to show. I'm sure he had the most to do. And they've come back around to the start. So just a quick reminder then, it's from right to left as you look at the screen. Peter Kilderman, Ricky Kling, Nick Morris and Chris Holder. First time of asking. Chris Holder made a good one from gate 4. Looked to be set for the lead, and importantly for the Pirates, Ricky Kling was in the mix. They go, and Ricky Kling once again in the mix there as he's first to show, but Peter Kilderman comes up the back straight. Pretty good line by him, and he's out in front from Chris Holder. Then it's Ricky Kling and Nick Morris at the back. So, leading the race, we got Peter Kilderman, Chris Holder in second, trying to look for an opening. He's not going to be wanting to go too wide, because, oh, Peter Kilderman there, oh, he's all over the place, and Chris Holder's right with him. Chris Holder trying to find a way through. Ricky Kling holding third place. Nick Morris is at the back, and Chris Holder would, under normal track conditions, have blasted by Peter Kilderman, but the Swindon Robin is still holding a very tight line, and that's going to be the way to win it tonight, is to just hold that line. Chris Holder not taking any chances there. The track's far too tricky at this stage. Kilderman at the second attempt. Chris Holder having made the gate in the first attempt, second time round. Killerman wins it from Chris Holder. Ricky Kling, the important third for the Pirates, who make no further reduction on the margin of 10 points. So with now 3 heats gone, the score on the night is 7 to Poole, 10 to Swindon, 51 to the Pirates, 61 to the Robins on aggregate. So Swindon winning the toss is playing dividends so far, because the Pirates' big guns have been on gate 4 every time, and both Chris Harris and Chris Holder could not capitalise with a race win, both times finishing in second place. And now we see the similar situation for Christoph Kasperzak. He also is on gate 4 this time, so that toss of the coin at the beginning so far paying dividends for the Robins. The lineup for heat number 4. On gate 1, winner first time out, Seb Alden. On gate 2, it's Linus Eckloff for the Pirates in blue. In white, on gate 3, is Troy Batchelor for the Robins. And Christoph Kasperzak in red for the Pirates goes from gate position number 4. So we've seen enough of the track to know that there's not going to be an awful lot of passing, not an awful lot of outside manoeuvres. It's get out the gate, crab round the line, and you certainly saw that in the previous race with Peter Kilderman, with Chris Holder right on his tail but unable to do anything about it. You saw it in the first race with Chris Harris behind Simon Stead. Christoph Kasperzak will be hoping that that's not going to happen to him this time if he can shoot away from gate 4. And it is a pretty good one from Kasperzak. He's out in the dirt. What dirt there is, out in the mud, I think you could say. And it's a good start from Kasperzak as he leads this one out. But Linus Eckloff for the Pirates trailing at the back, as it's Troy Batchelor in second place, Seb Alden in third, and Linus Eckloff trailing somewhat at the back of the field. So coming around halfway through the race, it's still Christoph Kasperzak. He wasn't beset by the problems that Chris Holder and Chris Harris had earlier on from gate 4, because with a lap and a quarter to go, he's leading out the race. Not pretty stuff. Not an awful lot of passing going to be going on tonight in these conditions. It's still Christoph Kasperzak with a half a lap to go from Troy Batchelor, Seb Alden and Linus Eckloff. There's the checkered flag. Christoph takes a look over his shoulder, sees Troy Batchelor trailing him. Another rather processional race on a very difficult track, and Christoph provides Poole with their first race winner of the night, and it's another drawn race, but it still means that there's 10 points between the teams, as we've now completed 4 of the scheduled 15 races. Christoph celebrates with a win, but Poole have plenty of work to do. So can the Pirates pull something back in this one? They're going to need to. They got Chris Holder in red on gate 1, and he'll be hoping to not have to trail around behind somebody else's back wheel this time. I'm sure he'll do his best not to. On gate 2 we got Simon Stead, winner of the opening race of the evening. On gate 3 it's Ludwig Lindgren, and on gate 4 in the white helmet, Hans Andersen. That's the lineup then for race number 5. The Pirates need something from somewhere. They're trailing on the night by 3, they're trailing by 10 overall, and they need to start making a move. Chris Holder, the rider to inspire that. Here he is on gate 1. Hans Andersen, the danger on gate 4. Off they go then, and it's Hans Andersen who comes straight round from 4, traps Chris Holder on the line, and at the moment it's Hans Andersen in the lead from Chris Holder right behind him. Then it's Simon Stead and Ludwig Lindgren. So the Robins on to another heat advantage this time, as Hans Andersen leads it up from Chris Holder. Simon Stead in third, Ludwig Lindgren trailing at the back, and the Robins certainly looking to pile on some more points here. That's a jolly good start by Hans Andersen for the Robins from gate 4. Chris Holder there his riding style is undoubtedly being constrained mainly by the condition of the track. Maybe also that foot injury is not helping. Certainly going into the corner there, the track not very friendly towards the riders as they try and get the bikes turning, but Hans Andersen's going to take this one. The Robins in a commanding situation at the moment. Their fans are recognising that on the first bend behind us. They take a 5-point lead on the night with that 4-2 as Hans Andersen takes the checkered flag in front of Chris Holder. Pirates certainly not being helped by a home track advantage tonight. The track is certainly not an advantage to them. In fact, quite the opposite. It's a disadvantage as the overall scoreline moves to Poole 56, Robins 68. On to Heat 6 then, and it's all going well for the Robins so far, as this time they got Troy Batchelor and David Lampard. For the Pirates then, this time it's Chris Harrison, Ricky Kling. On gate 1, Troy Batchelor goes in the white helmet, Chris Harris in red. On 2, David Lampard in a yellow on 3. Ricky Kling in the blue helmet goes from gate 4. That's how they line up for this one, heat number 6. And I'm pleased to say that the weather seems to have dried up. It's been mizzling all day, but it's stopped now. Unfortunately, the damage not only done today, but for about the past month, it would seem, certainly in the past week. Track very, very wet. Not conducive to the sort of speedway we were hoping to have, but nevertheless, this is a match with the season rapidly running out of alternative dates that really had to be ridden tonight, even though the conditions are far from ideal. But the riders are doing their best, and passing after the first bend, certainly a premium on the evidence that we've seen so far tonight. What can Chris Harris do? Can he fire the Pirates up this time? He's got Troy Batchelor on 1. He's right alongside him. Oh, and some elbows flying there as Batchelor goes a little wide. Chris Harris trying to come up the inside on the back straight, and Ricky Klim comes up the inside of David Lampard, who takes a tumble. And I think that's a race that could well be stopped. I don't know. No, that's stopped. And I think David Lampard is going to find himself out of the restart. Rider in yellow is excluded. David Lampard out, and it's 3 riders only, so another chance for the Pirates here in this one. But David Lampard still trying to get himself extricated from the fence and the track. So it's very much a question of 2 against 1 this time, but can the Pirates make the numerical advantage count in heat number 6, the rerun? Just to remind you, we've got Troy Batchelor on 1, Chris Harris on 2, Ricky Kling on 4, David Lampard, of course, back in the pits, having fallen for the 2nd time on the evening, and Chris Harris will make himself a big favourite with the Pirates faithful if he can do something this time about Troy Batchelor, who was away into a comfortable lead when that race had to be stopped. But just a question now of whether maybe Chris Harris, of course the races are being controlled by the rider into the first bend, and Chris Harris will be looking to try and be that rider this time. He's a pretty good performer, whether from the traps or from the back, but in conditions like this, even someone with Chris Harris's all-action style can't be expected to do the things he would normally otherwise do. Well, they're getting very friendly there, aren't they? The starter, Robbie, is standing there with his hands on hips, just looking at Troy and Chris. But a decent gap between them now. Off they go, and it's Once again, it was Troy Batchelor, but Chris Harris certainly blasted him, picking out a good line through the pit's bend there into the lead. So it's Chris Harris leading from Troy Batchelor, Ricky Kling back in third place there, and the Pirates could be away to their first race win of the evening. Troy Batchelor clearly trying to get back on terms with Chris Harris, but the Pirates guess at this stage, as they come round to complete lap 3, looks as if he's on for a win this time. Chris Harris then leads it for the Pirates into the last lap. Could be a 4-2. This could narrow the gap from 5 to 3. Still plenty to make up. 10 points still to make up after this, but first glimmer of hope for the Pirates sees Bomber Harris take the checkered flag there. Did his work superbly on the first spin with a nice little cutback, and he gets a nice rousing reception from the Wimborne Road crowd here. Troy Batchelor takes the second, Ricky Kling takes the third. 4-2 makes it 13 to the Pirates and 16 to the Robins. 60 to Poole, 70 to Swindon overall. Poole 16, Swindon 19 on the night. What can Christoph Kasselzak and Ludwig Lindgren do for the Pirates in this one? They're off gates 1 and 3. Christoph Kasselzak then in red goes from gate 1. On 2 it's Peter Kilderman in white. On 3 Ludwig Lindgren in blue, and Nick Morris goes from gate 4 in yellow. 16 to the Pirates, 19 to the Robins, 3 points between them on the night. Pirates have got to wipe that out and then start making inroads, but there's plenty of work to do. And that's a good start by Christoph Kasperczak there, and he takes his eye off the line as happened in the previous race, and it's once again Peter Kilderman who comes through to take over the lead. And in fact, in third place, Nick Morris takes it over from Ludwig Ingrid. So the Pirates, looking like they'd made the start there, have surrendered what looks like a 4-2 advantage. Peter Kilderman certainly got that inside line worked out. Christoph Kasperczak made the gate and then left the door open, and the rider in white for Swindon Robins, Peter Kilderman, comes through to take advantage as Ludwig Lindgren is now tailed off at the back. Some sort of bike trouble. Just going from bad to worse for that young man as they come across the line. Well, Ludwig Lindgren does, but he's a lap behind. He crosses the line just in case, sees that the other 3 riders have finished, and then he's going to dump his bike there disconsolately and make his way back. As Kilderman there makes it 2 races, 2 wins, certainly a trump card for the Robins. Christoph Kasperczak should be kicking himself there because he'd made the gate, but he allowed the Robin PK to slip up the inside and take the race. Disaster for the Pirates. We're up to the halfway stage of the meeting, and the Pirates are 5 points in arrears. We've got rain falling here. Well, certainly there's a little precipitation around the viewing area, and not only that, it started to rain. So we've got heat 8. We're halfway stage of the match. Pirates now 7 down before the night, now 12 down. 62-74 in favour of the Robins. It's not looking good for the home fans. It's looking absolutely wonderful for the visitors as we look at the lineup for this one. It's on gate 1, rider number 7 for the Pirates, Linus Eckloff. On 2 we've got Seb Olden for the Robins. On 3 Ricky Kling for the Pirates, and on 4 Simon Stead. Pretty good pairing for the Robins here. Pirates going to have to get out of the traps if they're to do anything at all about it, and if they surrender this race, if they can't get a race win in this one, I think the writing is going to be even more firmly on the wall. So it's heat 8, halfway stage, they go, and the Pirates do in fact get out in front, and it's Ricky Kling who is the first to show, but he immediately gets past, and it's Linus Eckloff now leading from Simon Stead, Ricky Kling in third, and Steady's come through to take it over and takes the lead. Pirates in the second and third positions, with Seb Alden trailing at the back. So Simon Stead, he's certainly been flying of late, and there's the latest evidence. He's been doing nothing all season. When it comes to the playoffs, he gets his finger out, and Seb Alden now is the latest the Robins to challenge. You've got Linus Eckloff in second, Ricky Kling in third, Simon Stead's leading by a country mile. When it looks like Seb Alden's coming up to try and take over from Ricky Kling, but Ricky's going to hold on to it. Simon Stead, very rarely a good performer on the Wimborne Road track, except when it's in the condition it is tonight, it would seem. And he's obviously pumped about winning that race, because it puts another nail in the Pirates' coffin and takes another step closer for the Robins to the playoff trophy. So Simon Stead then coming around to receive the acclaim. Not too much from the grandstand area, but round from our filming area here, where all the Swindon faithful are gathered. Steady gets the cheers as the Robins take a 3-3, makes it 21 to the Pirates, 26 to the Robins on the night, 65-77 on aggregate. So we move on to heat number 9, and it's Linus Eckloff coming out for 2 on the trot. Just got a second place in that one. He comes out on gate 1 this time for the Pirates in the blue helmet. Troy Batchelor goes in white from gate 2. We've got Chris Holder in red from 3, and David Lampard. He's had a wretched night so far, and he's had 2 falls. Well, can he make amends for that this time? Otherwise, I think we might well see his place taken by Seb Alden when it comes to heat number 12. But more of that later. So far, Pirates have fallen a further 5 points in arrears with their reshuffled team, and you see Chris Holder getting from the gate there, and he's out into the lead with Troy Batchelor in second, David Lampard trailing at the back, but I was going to say he stayed on his bike so far. It was a bit close there. Linus Eckloff then in third place, and Pirates looking as if they might be on for a 4-2 this time. It's Chris Holder leading from Aussie rival Troy Batchelor. In third place, it's Linus Eckloff. This will be the first race win of the night for Chris Holder, having had 2 second places. First off, trailing in behind Peter Killerman, and then next time out, he trailed behind Hans Andersen. Taking it very gingerly, I must say. The track not providing good racing at all. Not sure what the Sky viewers will make of this. It's a question of going through the motions. No close racing, no passing, and unfortunately the weather seems to be the dominant factor in tonight's race meeting. But a little bit to cheer there for the Pirates, who take a 4-2, makes it 25-28 on the night, 69-79 overall. We're off with heat number 10 next. The Pirates running out of time to do anything about this tonight. Maybe a win on the night is as much as they can hope for now, and even that looking quite challenging. So heat 10 lines up with Ricky Kling on gate 1. Scored 3 third places so far from 4 rides. On gate 2 we got Nick Morris, who's just got 1 point from 2 starts. We've got Chris Harris on 3 in red, and Peter Kilderman with 2 race wins. He goes from gate 4, and off they go. And once again, Kilderman flying from the start. In fact, Chris Harris is right at the back. So out in front is now Peter Kilderman from Nick Morris. Chris Harris back in 3rd place, and the Robins on to what could be potentially a championship winning 5-1. Made a pretty good start there. Peter Kilderman certainly been the thorn in the side. The Dane has not looked particularly steady on that bike, but he's certainly been out in front pretty much the whole of the night. This will be 3 races, 3 wins for him, giving his partner a little hand signal there. Chris Harris deciding that he's got to try and do something with half a lap to go. I'm not sure that there's any way through on tonight's track conditions, although he's doing his best. Peter Killerman crosses the line in the lead, ahead of Nick Morris, Chris Harris, and in blue in 4th place for the Pirates, Ricky Kling. 5-1 makes it 26 to the Pirates, 33 to the Robins, 70 points to 84 in their favour on aggregate. And I guess you can say that Peter Kilderman's got a bit to celebrate. 3 races, 3 wins. Pretty good. And the Robins are happy. On we go to heat 11 now, and I think the fat lady's just gone off for a little gargle, but at this stage it's still technically or mathematically possible for the Pirates to do something about this. But what we're seeing and what we've seen so far, I think the Robins are just going into a little rehearsal for a long overdue success. Anyway, let's have a look at the lineup for heat 11, and it goes like this. Hans Andersen, he's had a good evening so far, goes on gate 1 in white. On 2 it's Christoph Kasperzak in red. 3 Simon Stead yellow. Ludwig Lindgren on gate 4 in blue, and off they go. And Christoph Kasperzak going out wide into the dirt, and Hans had made a better one from the inside, and he's tucked in on the line in the lead for the Robins. Christoph Kasperzak in 2nd, Simon Stead in 3rd, and trailing at the back is Ludwig Lindgren. So this will be a 4-2 result for the Robins if they can hold on to it. And I think the Pirates will go 9 down after this one, not quite into tactical ride territory, but not far away. So the Robins know they've just got to hold their positions now and do nothing silly, and the title will be theirs. But it's not quite count our chickens yet. Into the last lap they go. It's Hans Andersen leads from Christoph Kasperzak. Simon Stead, the Robins take a 4-2. It increases their lead on the night. Now it's the Pirates 28, Robins 37, and on aggregate 72 to the Pirates, 88 to the Robins. No celebratory lap yet, but I think we might see 1 or 2 of those fairly soon now. In the closing heats then, we come to heat number 12, and it's as simple as this. The Pirates, to draw level on aggregate, need 4, 5, 1 results. It's possible, anything's possible in Speedway, but it's unlikely. Could that open the door for a Robins title win? It's a long time since they had one. Here's the lineup for heat 12. On gate 1 is a reserve change for the Robins, Seb Olden. On 2 for the Pirates is their captain, Chris Holder. On 3, unbeaten so far from 3 rides, is Peter Kilderman. And for the Pirates, on gate 4 in blue, is Linus Eklof. That's the lineup then. It's 28-37 on the night, and it's 74-92 on aggregate. Off they go. And that's Chris Holder first to show, and Peter Kilderman is trying to get on terms with him, but at the moment Chris Holder, first rider to get the better of Peter Kilderman, and he leads him up. But all the Robins need to take the title is to stick exactly where they are, take those minor places. 2nd and 3rd will be enough for the Robins to take their first league championship. Would you believe, since 1967? They've waited 45 years. they haven't got to wait much longer. In fact, they've got to wait about 1 lap longer, because whilst Chris Holder is leading this one out, the world champions leading the Pirates home in this race, it's the Swindon riders of Peter Killerman and Seb Olden who take the vital minor places for the Swindon Robins to be crowned the 2012 Elite League champions. And you can see how much that means to them. There they are, coming onto the track to give their 2 riders the reception that they deserve. 12 months ago it was the Pirates in exactly the same position. Tonight it's the Robins, and they've waited so long. The Pirates with 4 titles in 9 seasons, the Robins 1 in 45, which is why it means so much to them. Peter Killerman is going to go skywards, up he goes. He's had a pretty good night tonight. 2 wins to start with, then a little second there. I think he was under orders not to do anything too silly, but he's going down on the track. Oh, in the dirt, look at that. Yes, he's a dirty boy then. Yes, he's a dirty Dane. And the Robins are there to celebrate. Seb Olden, Hans Anderson. See what it means to the fans all around Bends 1 and 2 here. They're celebrating. You've got to say that home and away, they've been the better team. Pirates obviously badly hit by the absence of Piotr Pawlicki and Darcy Ward. Been intriguing to know how much closer that would have been with those, but it doesn't matter. The Robins are the winners. They've taken the trophy this year, and Roscoe and his Rockin' Robins are right there celebrating, milking it from the fans. And as I said earlier, those fans have waited so long. In fact, right back to the days, before I could remember actually, or I might just remember Barry Briggs, Mike Broadbanks, Bob Kilby. They were the superstars of the 60s. 1967. And where's Roscoe? There he is, look. Oh, he's almost lost for words, I think. Well, he isn't lost for words. He never lost for words, but he does look rather happy, doesn't he? Yeah. Roscoe now can relax. In fact, he came here 2 years ago with the Coventry Bees, but I think this is his hometown team and he feels a part of it. And looking at that scoreline, 31 to Poole, 40 to Swindon, and there we are, trying to grade the track in the middle of all those celebrations. I don't think the track condition matters too much now. There's Roscoe just waving to his supporters. Well, there were only 2 teams in the Elite League this year. They were so far ahead of the rest of the pack. It was obvious from early days that Poole and Swindon would be the 2 to fight out this match, and it's proved with the difficulties that Poole have had getting their best team out for those vital matches, that the Robins, who probably looked slight odds-on favourites to take the title anyway, but you have to say that tonight they've been in command throughout most of the proceedings. So it's a big congratulations to the Robins, and there's a trophy on the Sky screen now that the Robins will be picking up in a couple of races' time. We're just listening to Nigel speaking to Roscoe over the PA system.
And you're a Swindon man as well, so it really does mean 45 years has been put behind you at last. Yeah, well, at last we finally buried the ghost in 1967 at last, and it's pretty special, you know, and I respect the guys from 67, but you've got the class of 2012 now, and really emotional at the moment and really chuffed with the boys. It's been a happy hunting ground for you tonight, and again, commiserations to the Pirates. They've played as best as they possibly can, but in the end, the Robins had the edge. Well, 2010, it was horrible. I didn't like the atmosphere. I've come back now with Swindon, and the atmosphere with Matt and the Riders, it's just so much better now. And it makes it better for me because I had a lot of happy years at Poole, and there's a lot of Poole supporters that sent me some good wishes today. Thanks to them guys, really appreciate it. You are good supporters, and you've got a great promoter in Matt Ford who really just gives you the best. So thanks ever so much, everybody. And we're the champions! You'd expect nothing less from Alan Rossiter. Roscoe, of course, delighted with a victory for the Robins, and they'll be celebrating tonight. Well done. Congratulations to you Robins fans, and commiserations to all of you Pirates fans around Wimborne Road. Stay and show your appreciation to the Robins. This year they have battled. You have to say they won the second half.
Well, they're racing for glory now. They're certainly not racing for the Elite League title, because although Poole Pirates were at the top of the table, the Swindon Robins are the playoff champions, and that's the way they do it. And here we got Heat 13 with Chris Harris, the Pirates guest, in place of Darcy Ward, coming up in the red helmet from gate 1. On 2 it's Hans Andersen in white. We've got Christoph Kaspsak in blue on gate 3. And Troy Batchelor goes in yellow from gate 4. Titles decided, but the riders will still be wanting to go for every point, I'm quite sure. So it's the big Heat 13. Heat leaders right across the starting gate from 1 to 4. So Chris Harris, Hans Andersen, Christoph Kaspsak, Troy Batchelor. Star lineup for Heat 13. We're just waiting for the starter to be satisfied and get them up in line. They're in line now. Nearly. Robbie walks away. Green light's on. Off they go. And it's the Pirates. The first bend first. Oh! And wow. Hans Andersen clips Chris Harris's bike there, and wow, that was a close one. I don't know what the referee's going to do about that, because quite clearly it looked to me as if Hans Andersen just clipped the bike. Maybe the referee will have a look at the replay. We'll be able to see it ourselves now. In fact, I'm looking at it on the big screen. And Chris Harris, Hans came out to him. Oh, how lucky was Troy Batchelor? But it looked to me as if Hans just went through Chris Harris coming out of the bend, and there you are. White took him right off his bike, and I got a feeling that the referee should be putting off Hans Andersen for that one, but at the moment he's still making his mind up. Oh, certainly White. The white light is now on. I think Swindon will be happy that they've already won the title, because difficult. It was a bit of first bend bunting, but Chris Harris was in the lead, and I think that's the right call. But look at Troy Batchelor. He went round the outside of Chris Harris's helmet, which was attached to his head at the time, and then tucked up the inside of his bike. So Chris Harris there, very lucky indeed, the Pirates guest. He'd made the start, and coming out of the bend, he was just maybe too close to Hans Andersen. Hans just wiped him out. So it's a restart with 3 riders only. Well, it's good to see Chris Harris back on the bike after that rather awkward looking tumble. He usually bounces quite well, and that proved to be the case that time. So it's Chris Harris and Christoph Kaspsak for the Pirates. Troy Batchelor for the Robins on his own there on gate 4. And once again it's the 2 Pirates who make the better start. And Chris Harris holding the inside line. Christoph Kaspsak out in front for what would be the first Pirates 5-1 of the night. I'm afraid if it does finish like that, it's very much going to be a question of too little too late, but nevertheless the Pirates still trailing by 9 on the night in this particular match. And Krzysztof Kasperzak is due another ride in the next race because it's the tactical ride for Piotr Pawlicki. They haven't been too productive so far in the first 3 of the tactical rides, but Krzysztof will be hoping he can round off with another win next time out. But he takes the checkered flag there ahead of Chris Harris. A little bit of a hollow victory for the Pirates, but it is a 5-1 and it makes the score on the night 36 to Poole, 41 to the Robins. And we're now on to the evening's penultimate race. It's Heat 14, and here's the lineup. For the Pirates, the rider replacement for Piotr Pawlicki is fellow Pole Krzysztof Kasperzak in the red helmet, going on gate 4. On 1 we got Nick Morris. On 2 we've got Nick's in white, by the way, Ludwig Lindgren in blue, gate 2. Seb Alden, gate 3 in yellow, and Krzysztof Kasperzak, gate 4 in red. Pirates are 5 behind on the night. They need to get something like a 4-2 this time to set themselves up with any chance at all of winning the match, if not the playoff. It's all on this one then. And Krzysztof Kasperzak's away into the lead with Nick Morris in second place. Ludwig Lindgren there just trying to hold off Seb Alden. And Ludwig's in third place. Pirates then currently on to a 4-2. Krzysztof Kasperzak still leading from Nick Morris. Krzysztof choosing a wider line. Nick Morris keeping it nice and tight. Ludwig Lindgren there choosing a wider line. And Seb Alden there almost getting up the long sides. And he's keeping it nice and tight. Still very drizzly and murky and mizzly with a lap to go. Pirates are going to take a 4-2 to narrow the margin to 3 points. And coming up to the line, Krzysztof Kasperzak, the race winner. 2 consecutive race wins for Krzysztof. Nick Morris in second. Third we've got Ludwig Lindgren, and fourth Seb Alden. 4-2 makes it on the night 40 to Poole, 43 to Swindon. Overall, it's the only thing that matters to the Robins. 84 to Poole, 94 to the Robins. Yeah. Okay, 1 to go. So we're off and running for the final race of this evening. And it's the big 2 from each side. Reading across, Pirates have taken gates 1 and 3. Chris Holder on 1 in red. On 2 in white for the Robins, their top scorer, Peter Killerman. On 3 for the Pirates in blue is Krzysztof Kasperzak. And on gate 4 in the yellow helmet, Robins number 1, Hans Andersen. So arguably the top 4 riders on the night, and here they are in the nominated riders heat number 15. The Pirates trailing by 3 on the night. Aggregate scores out of sight, but a 5-1 here would give them a single point victory on the night. Not enough to do anything other than satisfy that home record, but still work to do then. They go. It's the Pirates who show first there, with Chris Holder on the line and Krzysztof Kasperzak up the back straight into second place. So at the moment, Pirates first and second. Krzysztof Kasperzak moving around into the lead. Don't think the Robins are really going to care too much about it, but the Pirates want to win the match on the evening. They want the 5-1. They're going to win the match on the night. Robins are going to take the trophy. Home record then intact. Halfway through the race, and it's still the Pirates with Christoph Kasperzak leading from Chris Holder. 1 lap to go. And Christoph Kasperzak, Chris Holder got this one sewn up. It looks like Peter Killerman tailed off at the back, and Hans Andersen sitting back in third place as the Pirates come and have another strong finish. We know all about their strong finishes. 5-1, 4-2, 5-1 to finish, but they left it far too late to do anything other than win the match by 45 points to 44 against the Swindon Robins. So it's congratulations to the Pirates on the night. Congratulations to the Robins overall. Oh, who's going on the track? Oh, I don't. Who's that? It's Roscoe getting a good dousing down with shale, I think. What has he done to deserve that? Oh, my goodness me. They're dragging him through it. Oh, no. Oh, and Hans is going to cover him. Oh, that's not very nice. Poor old Roscoe. I can't imagine what he will... Look at the state of him. What did he do? Oh, poor old Roscoe. Well, there we are then. That concludes the racing. I'm sure we've got plenty of excitement still to go by way of a presentation. But heat to number 15 then. The winner, Christoph Kasperzak, second, Chris Holder, Hans Andersen third, and Peter Kilderman, I think, trailed in with engine failure. So that finishes heat 15, and it's just a little question of presentations still to go. There they come then, riders on parade. Presentation time. And here they go around bends 1 and 2. Heading towards the start line. Robins and the Pirates. Well, the Pirates rescuing some pride tonight with a 45-44 victory, but the final scoreline in this playoff, Poole 89, Swindon 95, just 6 points between them. And for the Robins, it's what has eventually come since 1967, and for the Pirates, it's what might have been had they had their two of their top 4 riders. We're namely talking about Piotr Pawlicki and Darcy Ward. So, runners up, going up first. There they are then. Chris Holder, world champion, and Poole Pirate. And they line up there for the Sky cameras. They've had a brilliant season. They finished top of the table. They suffered cruel injury, bad luck right at the wrong time, having avoided it all season. And the runners-up in the playoffs, the Poole Coastal Aluminium Pirates. So there they are. So the Pirates, with 4 titles in 9 seasons, are not going to make it a 5th in 10. So they battled gamely tonight, but they met a better balanced team in the shape of the Swindon Robins. So here come the Pirates. Time for the presentations now. Plenty of Swindon supporters in the main grandstand to welcome their team up. There they go, Peter Kilderman. Hans Anderson, Simon Stead, Troy Batchelor, there's Nick Morris at number 4, David Lampard, a very astute mid-season signing, and the number 7 in for Doyley, and that's Seb Alden. Oh, and talking of Doyley, there he is. Last year he was doing exactly the same thing, only on the Pirates side. So he's been the non-riding winner 2 years running. Not forgetting, of course, the man himself, Roscoe. There's the league trophy then. Hans Anderson then taking the trophy. There's the cup, there's the fireworks, there's the celebrations. They've waited since 1967. Barry Briggs, Mike Broadbanks, Bob Kilby, your boys gave you a hell of a reminder that Swindon are back again. There's the trophy. Bit of champagne. Oh, there's Gary Pratchett there, just joining in the celebrations. What a promotional year he's had with the Robins. Well, you can't get a bigger change in fortunes from one year to the next, because while the Pirates were celebrating a win 12 months ago in this very time, in this very place, the Robins were languishing right at the foot of the table. But back bounced Roscoe to his hometown team. In came a whole bunch of new riders that have breathed life into the old Robin and got him rocking again. And there they are then. Hans Anderson just getting a few words from his Sky interview. And you have to say that over the 2 legs, Swindon deserved winners of the 2012 Elite League, as the Pirates just look on peacefully with Midlow dignified as ever with the boys. They're all there, and it looks like the Draper Tools man of the match for the Pirates goes to Chris Holder. It does indeed. So there's the there's the celebrations continuing. Hans looks a happy man. And still the celebrations continue. And Chris Louis there speaking to Roscoe. And the rest of the Robins are continuing to hold on to that cup. Well, it has been an awfully long time coming, so you can't blame them for that. So just 6 points between them at the end. The Robins were as many as 18 ahead in their home match. They were pegged right back to 7, gave the Pirates a certain amount of hope, even without young Pavlitsky. And then, of course, the bad news about Darcy Ward came up, and what looked to be an improbable task became, I think, pretty nigh impossible, as it showed tonight. But the Robins kept their noses in front throughout most of the evening. They just maybe relaxed a little bit in the closing races. They could afford to. And they're going to celebrate long into the night. I'm quite sure of that. Roscoe started already, look. That champagne is not for spraying around the other riders, it's for getting down the old throat. And I'm sure his throat's a bit sore. He's done plenty of shouting tonight. Well, there they are then. I think the Sky transmission is just about coming to an end as the highlights are being shown on the big screen. So I think we can, that's our cue for jumping onto the middle of the track. It is indeed. There they are, the victorious Robins, close up and personal. And it's well, there they are, just getting their instructions. There's the cup going aloft. So that's the final Sky transmission for 2012, and
we're done. So you don't do what you need to do. Right, can you get in touch, get hands or get someone? Quick word of Troy, anyone's fine. Right, let's go with Simon Stead.
well, it's Simon Stead here. Simon, how good is that, mate? Hey? Oh, he's just having a little dose of champagne. How good is that, Simon?
That's not very nice, but winning the league was awesome, man. Yeah. My testimonial year, it's been a rough season for me up until really the last month or so of the season, so to turn it around and for us to win the league is unbelievable.
Highlight of your racing season, or your racing career even?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I think the boys were brilliant tonight and you well deserve it.
Yeah, done it for the fans, they stuck by us, we've done it. Thanks.
Tremendous pride now to be holding that big trophy. It's what you came for.
It's what we wanted all season. We worked really hard, and what I can say is it's amazing to stand there with a cup in my hand, and this is for the fans.
It's for the fans, he says. I've got to say that tonight you came here, you must have had your heads high, you must have been confident when you arrived.
Yeah, well, we can never be too overconfident because Poole are very good at their own track. But yeah, we knew we didn't have to win every race, just to make sure we didn't run it in last. So it's just nice. It's nice.
It's nice, he says.
Wonder if we can grab a word with Roscoe.
Oh, beauty!
Hey, Roscoe, this has got to be one of the best feelings in the world, I'm sure.
Oh, mate, 45 years. We kept talking about it. You know, did you think it was going to go away? But them boys set it off from the beginning, and they were amazing tonight.
Yep. And what do you think made the difference between the two teams on the night?
I just think we were the better all-round side. Simple as that. I think, in fairness, they used two tacticals in the first round. They're there, they got to be used. But no, I'm not criticising them, but we've shown we've not used any tacticals, and we won. But they're there, we're not worried about the rules. That's how they're there to be abided by.
Yeah. And Poole and Swindon, the best two teams in the league, so it was a fitting finale to the season.
Most definitely, yeah. It was a footing thing. Shame we didn't win. I wanted to win it tonight, but it's so much hard to pick yourself up after winning the league. And picking yourself up is very hard.
Yep. But it all came good in the end. You got the trophy, and that's all that matters at this moment.
It's all that matters, all that cares. Let's go in that bar and get some beer down our throat.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Doyley, You weren't riding, but it was the next best thing. You saw your team take the honours tonight.
Yeah, definitely. The boys all put 110% in, and look what it got us. So I think the season we've had is just unbelievable, and I think next year we have to do it again.
Yep. Okay. Looking forward to that. Then.
Yeah,
Looking
can't
forward
wait.
to being fit.
Cheers,
yep.
mate.
Yep. Well, there we are. We're doing a lap of the track here with the victorious Swindon Robins, and we hope you've enjoyed our coverage from Rerun Productions tonight. Excuse me, I'm having to hold on with one hand and talk with the other. Here are the fans. They're a happy bunch.
In the bar.
Roscoe is directing them all to one place. Where are they all supposed to be meeting up?
In the bar, mate.
In the bar. Wow. Who would have thought it?
Some money.
Yes. No. And so, from everybody at Rerun Productions, from Rob Hayward behind cameraman number 2, from Steve Girdwood right alongside me here, and from myself, Graham Sutton, and the victorious Swindon Robins, it's thank you and good night, and let's roll on to the next one. And Sanderson then taking the trophy. There's the cup, there's the fireworks. There's the celebrations. They've waited since 1967. Swindon are back again.